Bass anglers are well aware that the jig head minnow catches a lot of fish, but that is not even the best part. This presentation is also easy to fish. Now combine effective and easy to present, and that is a win-win. There are lots and lots of possible lure and jig head combinations that anglers can use. Just search jig head minnow on your favorite tackle retailer's website and the results are plentiful. Now this setup that I have here is a baby Z2 and I have it threaded onto a Megabass Okashira head. But when looking for a setup, the real key for me, besides the small size, the minnow size, is something that is very responsive to what I do with the rod and reel. In other words, a flexible plastic. When fishing shallow, I like the smaller 16th ounce head, but if I want to fish deeper than that, I will go with the 8th ounce head. When used with these slender minnow lures, it drops through the water column quickly and gets to the depth that you want to fish. Well, today we are going to cover my two favorite retrieves for this lure. But first I have to tell you why I even wanted to do this video. A couple of days ago, I was messing around in my deep dive app and was scrolling down the main page while investigating Beaver Lake in Arkansas. I got to the bottom where tournament patterns were listed and the jig head minnow was front and center. When I clicked on it, the recommended pattern for this particular day, this time of year, was to target baitfish that are hanging out in ditches. There are even screenshots of what the baitfish may look like on your graphs, topo map examples, and then a video explaining the retrieve. And this is when I thought, I need to show viewers how easy these retrieves are and what they look like underwater. There are some bass fishing techniques out there that have a perceived difficulty level that is often very different from reality. In other words, sometimes anglers put off learning a technique or a style. And I think this happens with the jig head minnow because it is often labeled as a forward-facing sonar only type of presentation, and that's just not true. I don't have any form of live on my current boat at the time, and I catch a ton of fish with the jig head minnow all through the year. Now, I've done videos in the past on this great lure and presentation, but it's been a while, so I'm going to show you some footage of these two retrieves that are so simple yet so powerful. Now, the first one I like to call is the rod tap. Toss the lure out, and as you are reeling it in steadily back to you, just take your index finger and tap the side of the rod lightly. And as you can see here, what that slight tapping action does to the tail kick. Absolutely amazing how it brings this little lure to life. You can throw in a few twitches of the rod to mimic that minnow darting away from a predator, and that fleeing baitfish presentation looks great. I use this all the time when searching for bass, or once I have a group of them located. It just works for me, just catches fish. And as you can see from the footage of me reeling the lure in, I'm not hitting the rod very hard at all. Just the smallest tap is more than enough to make the soft, flexible plastic come to life. Now, the second retrieve involves taking your index finger and sticking it out while you are reeling back to let the line slap it on the retrieve. This imparts a bigger tail kick, as you can see here, and more of a pulsing up and down action on the bait. Once again, it looks terrific. If you get tired of tapping the rod, this is an extremely easy retrieve to do, and it does not fatigue you at all. And it literally is as simple as letting the line bump your finger as you reel it back in. I can't say that one retrieve works any better than the other for me. I switch between the two all of the time, and the beauty of both of these retrieves is the pure simplicity. The jig head minnow is so responsive to the slightest movement that it is incredibly easy to fish. Thank you to the Deep Dive app for sponsoring this video. If you use the app and have particular lures that you want to see demonstrated underwater from, let's say, their tournament pattern section, just let me know and I will see if I can get those done for you. Check them out on the Apple Store or the Google Play Store or the link down below. And hey, if you want to watch a video that talks about the #1 cold water bass behavior that we as anglers can't ignore, go ahead and check this one out right here. And make sure that you go out and encourage someone today. You never know how you might just change their life. For the Bass Fishing Life, I'm your host, Steve Rogers.